in order to make drawings from our designs, we want to set up a template so that it can automatically create the pages that we need for each of the assemblies and components and things in our file. So here I have a file that has a lot of kind of everything that we might be able to need to do. So we have sub-assemblies with components, we have sheet metal pieces, we have a screw, and so we want to be able to have it automatically make the sheets for all these things. Then we can go through and adjust those sheets to be the right settings for us. And so here's the example of what we're going to get to at the end is our template here where we have one page for the assemblies. You can see it's got the title block filled in with our tolerance information. We have our parts list. We have our two views, an isometric, and then a main view that we can use to change to be whatever view we want. We're not going to start with multiple views because then we have to kind of adjust all three views. Here we can start with one, pick our primary view, and then make other views from that. I also have a page for exploded assemblies, a page for components with some general notes, and then a page for sheet metal pieces. And so once we're doing this, we have a couple things we want to do. First is we want to take this title block information here. We want to be able to right click on that and edit it to fill out this information here, but also tell it in here where to pull these different things from the properties of the components. And so we want to do that. And also we want to go into document settings, edit that, and make some changes here. So like changing our units. So our standard decimal places to be 2 or 3 places. Want to turn off, want trailing zeros turned on, leading zeros turned off. And then we can also go over here to the view defaults, and for each type of view we can set what we want it to look like. And so for assembly, we want it to be just hidden. We don't want hidden lines. We just want the visible edges there. We don't want any tangents. We want to see threaded edges. We want some center marks on holes. And if we switch to different types, so like the animation page, we just want it shaded. Components, we want it hidden lines, center marks and lines for holes, and the sheet metal, folded view, and flat patterns appropriately. And then for this automation settings, this is where it's going to automatically create the pages we want, and it'll add in some things automatically for us. And so for the main assembly, we just want it to be we want one page with just an ISO view. That's it. We want a parts list, and we also want a sheet with orthographic views on it. And yeah, we want some overall dimensions. So we just want to tell it to auto dimension, overalls only. And we want hole and thread nodes if we want to do that. And sure, let it auto arrange, see what it comes up with. You can always change it later. We get to sub-assemblies, same thing. And we do want parts list on that. We go to components, and for this, we want it to create a sheet. Since we're already told it what views we want, we're not going to need to check this. And we don't want it to dimension. We want to do all of our dimensioning on our own because its dimensions are going to kind of be all over the place. But as you know, we want to pick dimensions that are meaningful and place them in places that are easy to understand. The automation just isn't there yet, so we don't want to do that. And same thing for the sheet metal and the flat patterns. But flat pattern we do want to auto dimension with order dimension so we can get those bend lines dimensioned. And so that's what we're going to do is we'll set that up. You'll notice that if we go in to a new drawing template, we'll do the B size, scratch, and the text there. If I go in, right click on, or click on the little arrow here, right click on the title block and edit the title block and say okay. I get here, I put in my text that I want. Words. Go. I want it to be, unless otherwise specified, all across. I don't want to have that second line, so I want to make that a little bit wider. But when I do that, now it's a little too wide to fit in that box. So we're just going to put that Here, we're going to grab this line. We're just going to drag it straight over to the side a little bit. And then we'll just take these lines, we'll reconnect them, just drag it straight across the tracks and the bottom line also. And then you can take these text pieces here and do the same thing to those. Then you'll see that these we want to change also. So for the title, we're going to double click on that. We're going to delete that. And then for it, we're going to do an attribute. We're going to do the part name there. And for the drawing number, we're going to delete that. And we're going to tell that to be the part number. And we can finish that. Now when we put our pieces in, it's going to automatically bring in the name from the component and along with the drawing number. And then we'll save this and then go through set your settings. So I'll show you what it's going to do is if I have my file here, if I'm at the top and I right click and say create drawing, I tell it automatic, you can see the sheet count jumps to 10 because that's on the first level, so it's going to look at the first level things. If I tell it all levels, now it's going to jump to 12 because it's going to do some pieces that are in there also that are not on that top level of the files. And I want to tell it I want to use my template. So now it's kind of gone down, taken a couple away because it knows I'm not going to do one of the screw. And also I want it on mine, I have the flat pattern and the folded views of the sheet metal combined into one page. So we have that. And I can say OK. And it's going to start making that. I can also go in and tell it that I only want certain things. So let's say I only want to make drawings of those three. I can control click those, right click on it, create drawings. You can see now it's doing to just selected things. Go back to automatic, my template. First level is fine for that because there's nothing below them. I can say OK, and it'll start making that page. So now if I go into my drawings, I can see here's this full one here. This is the full assembly page by itself, and all the different things are done. Assemblies get dimensions on them. The flat pattern gets dimension, but not the folded view. And those are there. And if I want to change the view, like that's not a good view, I can just double click on it and change that to be the top view. You can see it updates both the isometric and that accordingly. If I go to this file, you'll see that it only made files or drop pages for those three things that I picked. And so those are taken care of for me automatically. And I can go in and do whatever I need to do to them. All right, have a good time.